The Revival are out of WWE, but guys, we have some major updates. AEW, NWA, both are a huge possibility in some sort of joint deal. So we're going to talk about it in today's video. With that being said, welcome to Destination Pro Wrestling. Get notified every time a new video drops. Make sure you click that subscribe button and ring the bell for more pro wrestling news.
You have arrived at your destination.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Ango. Welcome back to DPW. And if you guys look at the image on the side of the screen, that was the proposed gimmick before the Revival's contract ended. You guys may have seen this image over the last few days, but I really want to talk about this situation with the Revival because now there seems to be some more updates on the rumor mill, and this actually makes a lot of sense, and I think most wrestling fans would love to see this happen. Now, before we jump into the news, I want to give a quick shout out to Edgardo Fortuna. Hopefully I pronounced that right. He upgraded from being a 24/7 champion to the TNT championship. And I also want to give a shout out to Brandon Kumi, who not only made a very nice, generous tip on the channel, but he also joined the DPW World Champions list. Now, with that being said, guys, Facebook, Twitter, merchandise, social media, all of that stuff, links in the description if you guys want to learn more. All right, let's talk about the Revival going to AEW, but more specifically, let's talk about the Revival going to NWA. It's no secret that the Revival and Vince McMahon just couldn't see eye to eye on where these guys were projected to be in WWE. I've seen a lot of people on social media. They've kind of talked about the Revival, saying that they were underutilized in WWE. And I spoke about this in a previous video. I don't know if underutilized is the correct word. I just think there wasn't enough commitment from WWE to push the Revival forward. Now, we have some news on the Revival and their post-WWE plans. They received a new logo that they are now promoting on social media. And I actually tweeted about their new in-ring tag team name on my Twitter just a few days ago. And a lot of people seem to agree that that is the direction the Revival is going. So Dax Harwood and what's the other name? Cash Wheeler and Dax Harwood. Those will be the in-ring names for the Revival. So Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder, no more. And we talked a little bit about their new name, which is expected to be The Revolt. So FTR is something that they trademarked. We knew about this a lot for actually a while since we've been covering the whole Revival WWE situation for the past year and a half. The Revival will be no more. The Revolt will be the new tag team. Now, what I find very interesting is there's been some rumors popping up on the online community that the Revival may have some interest working for both AEW and NWA and would like to use that as part of their agreement when signing with AEW. Now, for the most part, a lot of people, if you were looking at WWE in this situation, you would say that this probably isn't likely. And that is accurate. WWE never really lets their wrestlers wrestle anywhere outside of their bubble. So if it's not Evolve, ICW, or Progress, typically you won't see a WWE superstar in another ring. With AEW, as you guys know, a lot of people have been able to negotiate joint deals. So the idea of a joint deal is very similar to what we have seen with Moxley or Jericho, in the sense that these guys could go to New Japan or AEW. The rumor mill suggests that the Revival have very strong interest in going to NWA, as well as having interest in working AEW. Now, while I haven't seen any rumors pointing to the Revival, no speculation thus far on the Revival going to New Japan, if we were able to see a tri-company deal, meaning 3, then I would love to add New Japan to the list. Now, the Revival, when you look at that image on the screen, we got to be honest, WWE putting the Revival in a gimmick like that as a comedy character just shows how irresponsible WWE can be with great talent. I've talked in the past about injuries playing a role into lesser pushes or lesser commitment from WWE. But that right there is inexcusable. That image is 1000% inexcusable. And quite honestly, if you are WWE, shame on yourselves. This is a team that came up from NXT. They have become one of the best tag teams in the world. There's been a lot of hype about the Revival fighting against the Young Bucks one day. This is not something that's new. This has been known for a very long time. If you just check social media and you see FTR all over being the Elite, you can tell that there is some common ground for both parties. WWE should have known for a very long time that that is something that would never slide. And that is why the Revival being released was literally a blessing in disguise. These guys are going to go and kill it anywhere they sign, but to hear that AEW and NWA are both interested in the team, and to hear that there could be a joint deal is very exciting for anybody who is a fan of the Revival. If you guys thought the Revival were a great tag team in WWE, you are going to think so much more highly of them when they are out and about, when they are given creative freedom, when they are given meaningful matchups. I think one of the best parts about the Revival in WWE was the fact that the tag team division did have some very awesome opponents. When you look at the New Day and the Usos and the OC, and there's just some tag teams that were in WWE that, you know, it wasn't as good as AEW's, but it wasn't bad. The physical roster is what I'm talking about. When you talk about tag team wrestling and the execution from WWE, again, inexcusable. But WWE should have known for a while that the Revival were going to leave for a major competitor, and WWE chose not to do anything other than put this freaking image on the table and say, this is what we're going to do before they head out of the company. So again, them being released is a major, major blessing in disguise. And if I am AEW, if I am NWA, I make the deal work. Now, a lot of people on social media are very excited about this rumor because the Revival themselves have also alluded to this rumor as well. They've made a couple teases as far as NWA promoting the Crockett Cup. Now, as you guys know, the NWA is not set to resume tapings due to the pandemic. AEW currently is taped up for about a month, maybe a month and a half, and then they plan to do some more tapings. Obviously, every wrestling company is impacted by this pandemic. And I don't think it's an excuse whatsoever, but it's such a crucial time for the Revival to do their thing. And I think WWE just played this off really bad. I don't think there's an excuse that WWE can give. I think WWE knew damn well that, you know, with this pandemic going on, releasing the Revival at a bad time, you know, they were hoping that it would probably hurt the stock. I think that's what WWE was thinking. I think WWE said, hey, these guys won't be able to show up on AEW right off the bat because AEW is pre-taped for about a month and a half. So it's going to kind of slow the momentum for the guys. And I don't think that's going to work. And I think WWE was very, very analytical about this situation. I think they realized, hey, these guys have been trying to get out of the company for like 2 years now. I think WWE knew exactly what they were doing when they released them. But at the end of the day, you know, Vince McMahon and the Revival, it just was never going to work. We all knew it was never going to work. And again, I'm not saying they had a bad WWE career. I think a lot of times people think when I talk about the Revival that I think that they weren't pushed or they weren't successful in the company. They were. They absolutely were successful in WWE, and anybody who says that they weren't, you're crazy. WWE was in a situation where these guys have been given the tag team championships a couple times. They were match of the year when working for NXT, but it just goes to show you how much of a disconnect there is between NXT and Raw and SmackDown. There's a reason why pro wrestling fans really enjoy NXT and pro wrestling fans really hate Raw and SmackDown. Even though Raw gives you shades of pro wrestling that we've seen in NXT, Raw is still very much a WWE product, and therefore fans are always going to feel disconnected between the main roster in comparison to NXT. That's why if you check social media, the loudest people of them all, the one with the volume all the way turned up, they're still watching NXT even if they're not watching it live. But more than likely, they're not watching a lot of Raw and SmackDown, and it makes sense. Just goes to show you there are some bigger problems in WWE that don't get talked about enough. But if WWE wants to handle talent better, they need to look at what made them successful in NXT and continue that, not change that. Changing that was the biggest mistake WWE did for many of the roster members that came from NXT. Unless you're Braun Strowman or Roman Reigns, more than likely the NXT system is... It's just better for you if you stay in NXT. Unfortunately, WWE doesn't necessarily do the same, contracts and stuff, and obviously they get paid less and they work less, and there's a whole bunch that goes into it. But nonetheless, this image on the screen is inexcusable. Jim Ross, has expressed a lot of interest in the Revival and Rusev, so these are three names I would expect to see in the AEW ring sooner. But these guys right here being in the NWA would be pretty damn awesome too. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching today's video. For more pro wrestling coverage, make sure you guys click that subscribe button, ring the bell. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. And don't forget, if you guys want to leave a tip, follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or even cop some merch. We got a discount, 20% off. Use the code ANGO if you guys are interested. With that being said, guys, this is your boy Ango, and I will see you next time. Get notified every time a new video drops. Make sure you click that subscribe button and ring the bell for more pro wrestling news.
You have arrived at your destination.